it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Welcome in to We Talk Facts with 9-year NBA veteran and Nebraska basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland and 2-time Nebraska football national champion Clester Johnson. Talking and taking names in sports and day-to-day living. Sit back, relax, and join the show with 9-year NBA vet and Nebraska basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland. And 2-time Nebraska football national champion, Clester Johnson.
Yes. You know what it is. Another segment of We Talk Facts here on 93.7 theticketfm.com. It is me, Strick, and my boy who is on the stream, the Sauterham Streamline. Well, StreamYard, Streamline, all of that. It's all the same. Is Clester Johnson joining us there as well from the confines of Casa de Johnson, and Harrison Arms on the 1s and 2s as always. We appreciate you for joining us here. And look, we're looking, we're hunting. We are in the process of finding a sponsor to be able to shout out, bring on, talk about all of that. We're in the process of the hunt. We want the good fit. And so if you are wanting to do so, you can look me up at Erick Strickland at 93.7 The Ticket, or I'm sorry, at theticketfm.com, 93.7. Theticketfm.com is where we are, is where you can find us in all platforms streaming. If you want to go back, look at some old We Talk Facts moments, and you can go there as well. But if you're looking to potentially sponsor and be a part of We Talk Facts, you can find us at Erick Strickland at theticketfm.com. Hit me up and we'll get some information to you as well. Clester Johnson, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing quite well. I would like to add to that. I've had a few people that are kicking around the tires to see if they want to be a part of WTF. But like Eric said, we're looking for the right fit, somebody who fits what we're trying to get accomplished. And if you reach out to us, talk to us, you can sit down and talk to us about it, and so on and so forth. Maybe we can add to what you're trying to do. Yeah, for sure. Just go from there. See what your goals and aspirations are. It's just not about us, right, E?
No, there's no question about it. Big weekend on the way. Jay Foreman, Jake Sorensen, as well as DP is out in Las Vegas. Obviously, the Super Bowl is on the way this weekend. It's going to be a big day for the San Francisco 49ers, as well as down the road, 3 hours away, Kansas City Chiefs will be in another Super Bowl Mahomes has found a way to get it done. We're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to start with a disappointing moment. I don't think it's ultimately disappointing because there's a lot of facts that have been going on in the NCAA men's basketball space, in that a lot of the home teams, it's been a home team domination type of things. Like, we can get into the fact of whether it's just the home team is just handling business or whether the refs are home team just homers, so to speak. But we're going to talk about how Nebraska fared against Northwestern out there in Evansville. I'm sorry, Is it Evans? It's Evanston, right?
Evanston, yep.
Evanston, Northwestern came up victorious with a 12-point win, 80-68. Usually you would like to see Nebraska, once they touch 80 outside of the overtime win, they normally come out with a victory. They came up a little short. Looked like they got a late, kind of got motivated late.
And that's been the problem.
That's been the problem.
You can't have that on the road, period. And, I don't. It feels like Nebraska-esque, but you look across, it's not just Big Ten either. It's like every conference. It's a weird year in college basketball. Like, no elite team has been consistent in terms of winning on the road. Yeah, Purdue's done well in the big, and that's why they're having the success that they're having, because they've been able to do that. But it seems like the teams at home, and shout out to Nebraska though. Yeah, because you got to be one of those. They're one of the only ones that have been able to curb the Boilermakers from riding on the rails. Yeah, 14-1, best home record in the Big Ten. Yeah, I think that's the start. You got to get it on the road, but it's at least you're taking care of those, because we would be in no situation to go dancing if we weren't taking care of business at home. Well, there's no doubt about it. And the thing about it, that as well, is Nebraska is going to have a chance with some of the bottom feeders of the Big Ten, but Michigan just came up with a big win against their rival. Did we send Wisconsin on a skid? Was our loss? Right? And then they got another loss to Purdue. And then they have another one before Michigan, or is that a 3-game skid right there? I want to say it's 3. It could be 2 of 3. But listen, it's kind of crazy. But when you look at this Nebraska game, it wasn't a necessary thing to just go in there and get that win. Like, it would have been great, because for Nebraska, it would have been a quad 1 win for them on the road. But listen, Northwestern was hungry, because they did not want to go 2 games behind Nebraska. Like, I can tell you that the staff basically prepared them and helped them to understand the meaning of that game. They showed up. Boo Booey came out on fire. Like, he didn't really do anything too much when he came out here to Nebraska. But there was something that went on in that game that was kind of crazy. What you saw is Boo Booey and Ty Berry, they hit a couple big shots, and one of the things that they did is they put their hands on their head, and people, even the announcers were asking the question, they're like, what's going on? What is that about? I knew what it was about. I was waiting for people to pick up on that. Yeah, I knew what it was about. It was when Keisei Tamanaga hit a big shot to basically end their opportunity to get a win there in Lincoln, and Keisei Tamanaga went with his head and made a big face, and they were doing that relentlessly in the first half. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and that told me that they were serious about that game. It was a revenge game for them, and they were really taking out, because every time they lined up Keisei, it was I'm about to give you this work. Yeah, it's going to be tough. You can really see teams trying to unlock Keisei Tamanaga. It's been a struggle for Nebraska. You like everyone's Bryce Williams or Rink Mast, but consistently offensively on the road, you got to figure out a way to get him unlocked. Because when he starts off cold, especially with the way Northwestern's shooting the ball, it's just a late start. I don't know, and this has kind of been my whole thought, is we're great at home. We play well as a team, but I did worry early on, who is that guy? Yeah. And on the road, it's really important to have that guy. And we just don't. It comes a little bit too late. It was kind of Rink Mass towards the end there, but again, it was just too late. So I think they do got to have someone when it's just not going, and someone on that court's just got to be that alpha and take over. Cless, I want you to chime in, but because we're gonna shift, because NCAA, I would love to chime in at some point. Yeah, the NCAA is also we're gonna shift into that, but I want you to chime in. But the issue though, Cless, and you can understand this, because you had a team at Nebraska that took each other and held each other accountable, right? Like, on the road, it's important to be able to look your person in the face, grab somebody by the chest, tell them that they're what they need to do, or they're not handling business the way that they need to. They don't really have that for Nebraska in the basketball sense. And I think that's what came up because they got killed on the rebounds. They weren't very effective. The turnovers were crazy. And it wasn't just that Northwestern was doing anything specific to call. It was dumb turnovers is what cost them this game as well. Go ahead, Clester.
3 things that stand out with Nebraska is number one, comfortable. When I watch them at home, they look very comfortable. Number 2 is intensity. They don't play with the same type of fire and intensity. I don't know if they're allowing the atmosphere to get a hold to them. And number 3, I'm going to say leadership. There's got to be somebody outside the coaching staff. It can't be the coach. It has to be somebody, an Erick Strickland type of fiery individual who can show and prove. Somebody who's diving on the floor. Somebody who's getting in somebody's grill. Man, somebody who might even be willing to take a tech. You know what I'm saying? To show his teammates that, listen, we here for business.
That part.
And I don't see that. And again, you got to have somebody that's on the floor. You got to have a teammate that's going to be willing to get into each other's grills and say, hey, listen, I know we're not at home, but let's make this our home. That's what it's all about.
Hey, and I'm gonna shift, but what came to mind right there, class, was this. You ready?
Yep. Talk to me.
Dave Chappelle has a skit, and it deals with Rick James. Rick James goes into Eddie Murphy's house and says, I don't care about your couch. I don't care about your carpet. Fuck your couch. Your dirty couch. Darkness. He just tearing up his house. That's when Nebraska needs to have the mentality. Go in somebody's house and say, this is not your spot. This is our spot. I don't care what your rules are. We taking over the spot. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, and you just backed me up on that. There has to be a bad guy on the team. There has to be somebody on the team that when the going gets tough, he's going to do something to spark everybody. I saw that.
They need a Dylan Brooks.
Something like that. But I saw that at home.
Draymond Green.
I saw at home when the young fella, I can't think of his name. He led Nebraska in scoring. It wasn't Mass. It was
K.C. Tabanaga.
No.
C.J. Wilcher.
C.J. Listen, when CJ got hot, he was talking.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, you're right.
He was talking to number 11 for Wisconsin.
He was like,
I saw them bickering back and forth. You got to do that at home and be willing to
do that on the road.
Take the brunt of the crowd. Sometimes you see a good player when they hear the crowd going crazy. The good player is like, "Yep, come on, keep talking. I'm just gonna shut y'all up."
Yeah,
and that's what they need. They need a guy who's gonna shut up the crowd.
You're absolutely right. Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about is obviously the NCAA for me has been a paper tiger, and especially in the football space. Obviously the NCAA tournament is their big money maker. That's their big bread and butter thing. And that's one of the things that they have hand-on control of, and that's where they make their money. But the football space, the NCAA is like a chihuahua, me, just a bunch of, you hear coming from the door, but then you open the door and they run off. You know what I'm saying? That's what they are in the college football space. And a lot of what they've been doing, and I've seen pundits now talking about it. To me, it's been a means by which they're trying to assert a form of power back into the space. But I think it's far gone. A lot of frivolous, penalties that have been assessed to some football teams. And guess what, Sibo? I can assure you that some of the big boys is doing the biz naive. You understand me? They're doing the biz naive, meaning that's short for business. They're doing the dirty business, and they're going after the mid-tier teams with names. That's why you see Florida State's showing up. This is why you see Tennessee's. You don't see Alabama showing up. You don't see Georgia showing up. You don't see some of the top tier teams showing up. You don't see Ohio State showing up, but you see these mid-tier teams showing up. What is this all about, Sibo? What you think? What's your
man? You know what? I wish I knew, because I think we've all agreed that the NIL situation has almost been like the Wild Wild West. And I see that Miami has been the first team to have an NIL penalty. I see that they're quote unquote settling with the NCAA about an NIL situation. And I'm going to tell you, there's lots of teams that's just kind of doing what they need to do to get the best players. At the end of the day, I think you and I discussed this, Eric. People, their collectives, everybody has a collective at their school, and they're paying players to basically the best players to come to their school. But the frivolous parts can be, well, he drove them there.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That Florida State situation.
An assistant drove bogus. A player to the office to discuss
that's bogus
situation.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of bogus situations, but I don't know if there is enough camaraderie with the big schools to fight back, because everybody's trying to get a leg up. Everybody's trying to get a leg up. There needs to be a conference like the SEC who says, "Hey, listen, we're going to be like Lechtenberg. We're going to we're going to see Lechtenberg. They have their own rules. Like they govern themselves, right? And the SEC needs to say, listen, we don't need you. We're going to govern ourselves. We're going to hire a guy who's a neutral guy, and we're going to lay out some things, some do's and some don'ts. We don't need you. We're going to keep all of our money in-house. We don't need you." It's going to take a conference to come together and say, hey, or maybe the two biggest conferences have to come together and say, listen, we're Lechtenberg now. We don't need you. We're going to govern ourselves. And we may need you for this, but we don't need you for this, right?
Yeah.
But something's going to happen. I think at some point, you can never predict these things, but at some point, something's going to happen where these schools are going to get just tired of the NCAA because they're so inconsistent on what's a foul and what isn't, what we can do and what we can't. There's really no playbook. And again, somebody's going to say EIE. You know what that means, Eric?
Uh-oh.
No. Enough is enough.
It's enough. Okay. I like it. Harrison, you got any input that you'd like to, because it's kind of crazy. It just it doesn't make sense, some of the stuff that they're throwing on some of these universities, some of the penalties. To me, it's like trying to put toothpaste back into the tube after you didn't squirt a whole bunch of paws onto your toothbrush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think Clester was right. The sporadic who we're going to go after, who we're not going to go after.
Yeah.
Great way to make enemies. You look at the Tennessee-Florida situation, pretty identical, but Florida gets hammered because the Tennessee quarterback ends up transferring. But nonetheless, Tennessee still, quote unquote, broke the rules in the same way, but Florida's getting hammered for it. I think it's going to be Big Ten or SEC. I do think they'll come together. The NCAA right now, it just feels like such a crapshoot. Like the organization feels like a mess. The players, the coaches, no one really knows what the hell's going on up top. So I think if they don't figure it out really quick, I'm sure there's already conversations happening right now while this show's going on.
Let me add something. Ultimately, I think with the conferences and with schools, it's like, whose interests are you trying to serve, right? So, what Harrison just said, he was talking about one school got it, one school didn't. It's like, it's almost like you do an audit on somebody, you start finding out all this information. I think eventually somebody's going to get information and really kind of figure out, hey, whose interests are you serving, NCAA? Is it about you lining your pockets? Or is it generally trying to do what's best for the student athlete? I don't think anybody knows. That line is real blurred right now.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It's crazy. It's, we just don't know. It's such a it's like walking into a room in the darkness. You just don't know what you're going to bump into when you're dealing with this situation with the NCAA right now.
Well, coaching would be a nightmare. Like, you'd have to rethink your day. Like, did I break any rules today? I don't think so. I sent a text to one of my players, but it'd just be so much constant trying to retrack what you did, because like Clester said, the dumbest things are what you get penalized on.
Yeah, and I'm going to say compliance offices, like how hard is it to be a compliance officer at a university now, right?
Nightmare.
Like, Eric, I would like to go back to something. Let's go back to that dark room. Can we go back to the dark room that you walk into?
Talk about it. Break it in.
You bumping into stuff in the dark room. I mean, I really try hard, Eric, not to go into dark rooms. I'm not sure.
Especially in the day and age that we are involved in. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I'm really trying to stay from walking into dark rooms.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That could be hazardous to your health. I'm just saying.
That's an absolute fact. Yeah, that's a visionary of a fact that I don't want to deal with. Especially
that's a big pause.
We're going to take a break on that note. We're going to come back and talk some more facts when we get back right here at 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting increasing cloud cover throughout the day. It will be breezy too. We'll see a high around 57. Tonight, partly cloudy skies expected with a low around 31. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies for most of the day. A slight chance of rain late with the high around 49. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jackamick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The first and only African-American male to win the U.S. Open and Wimbledon, champion tennis player Arthur Ashe was denied entry to South Africa in 1969.
The law is the law and I cannot play. So I drive away from that with my coach, knowing that the only reason I could not play was because because I was black.
We salute star athlete and fighter for justice, Arthur Ashe, during Black History Month.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Yes. Once again, back on WTF We Talk Facts. Second segment here. We're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is happening out in Vegas. It is going down this Sunday. 5:30 local time here, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's going to be 5:30.
Yeah, 5:30 local time here is going to be going down. We are, for the station, going to be out at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Yeah, we're going to be out there for a little bit. Giveaways, got some squares and all kinds of stuff, some prizes, gifts, giveaways, all that stuff's going to be going on. I'll be in the building for a little bit. I won't be there for the whole game, but I'll be there for a little bit as well. But Sibo, let's talk about the game right now. It's one of those things. It's kind of crazy. Legacies are being started and established, and legacies are being built. You have a team on one end that was on the verge of a breakthrough, had a tremendous injury at the wrong time, ended up coming short, but have a bunch of guys that are hungry. McCaffrey, Purdy, guys like Ayuk and this is their window. I think this is the window they have to hit before salary cap issues start to kick in. And this is also before Purdy is going to command and demand, some higher paperwork added.
It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do, because with that roster, I'm not saying he's going to take a severe cut, but he might be willing to take a little less than what he's even worth.
Yeah, he'd be smart if he would to keep it going. But then you have Mahomes that is on the verge of the ascension into greatness. He's already great. He's already a superstar. He's already got paid. He's done something. He's broke the mold, because we know that the mold has been usually you catch a team when they're in their rookie scale windows, and that's when you usually win. This is how your Burrows and Allens were able to kind of get there and get close. But now, as the salary caps are starting to kind of hit them, it's starting to turn away. But Mahomes had broke the mold. The way that he's been able to do it without a superstar on the wideout position, finding a gem like Pacheco, and then still being able to just use Kelsey. The fact that he went 11 targets for 11 receptions and just blew the doors off of with Kelsey is absolutely phenomenal. So we have some just craziness, and then you have the Swifties. You have all the craziness going on and the conspiracy theories and all that going on with that. Clester thinks I'm the conspiracy theory king, but let's say what it is. But the fact remains is it's a good game. It's going to be a tough game. I'm looking forward to this game. But the thing about Mahomes is also this could put him on par with Tom Brady. Tom Brady, within 6 years, had his first 3 Super Bowls. He gets this one. This could put him on par, and then you can start having discussions about where he goes from there. We talked on the block about the Tiger Woods situation and how he was emerging as a superstar on the approach for Jack Nicklaus's record of 18 and got to 15, but just hasn't been able to break through. What set him? What was the issue for him? The issue for him was outside off the golf course troubles that caused a downfall. But then now we see Mahomes. Is this going to affect Mahomes? This is what we have to be cognizant of, because now his father ends up with a DUI. He's been dealing with the brother issues. Wife sometimes could be a little, but is that going to affect him? So this is what we're going to find out when we get to the Super Bowl. Clester, what's your initial thoughts? And here's the question I really have for you. Who do you think, outside of addressing what I just said, who do you think are your top 3 important players for this game?
Well, I would love to address a little bit. Let's talk about the Patrick Mahomes. I really think that they're taking a page out of the Patriots book. Tom Brady took pretty much less money for a long extended period of time so he can consistently just keep bringing in the parts that he needed. When you look at Tom Brady, really all he had was Rob Gronkowski. Would be like his main target.
With like White or Edelman, right?
You'd have like a Julian Edelman. You had just little parts that you can depend on, and it seems like right now for Patrick Mahomes, it's his tight end, Kelsey. And Kelsey, he reminds you so much of like a Gronkowski. You could tell the guy has a great time. These tight ends, like look at George Kittle for San Francisco. I mean, these tight ends, it seems like that's the position to play in NFL because they have such a good time, but they still perform well. It seems like their off the field antics doesn't affect how they play on the field. But with Mahomes, the crazy thing is when you're the quarterback, there's so much on your shoulders. I can't even imagine all the stuff they have to deal with when they're not at practice. So you got a wife, you got kids, they have their wants and needs. You got, like you said, you got the brother, he's dancing. And you got, I heard there's the mom stuff be popping up there some. And we just saw Pops get a DWI. And, he has to have a good team around him to handle like tickets and handle like, all right, you guys are going to stay here. Like, there's no way for him to do that and still function at a high level. It's just really, it's impossible. Because at the end of the day, he's a human. He's a human being, man. And I just think that he probably has some pretty good assistants around him that takes care of some of these little issues so he don't have to worry about it. I mean, that's the best way to do it. I mean, look at LeBron. LeBron has a team around him of people who deals with probably some of the stuff that he doesn't have time for. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So
you talk to me about like the situation like with Jay-Z, how like Jay-Z has a similar situation where people deal with specific issues that literally allows him to just kind of focus on the business and focus on other things. And he had an assistant that just recently retired or whatnot. But yeah, you're right. It depends on the team that you have around you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just believe that if you see these guys functioning at a high level, but you still kind of see some off the field things going on, listen, they got good people around them. They do. They got people like Tom Brady. He had people around him. Unfortunately for Tom Brady, he had a wife who wanted him to come home for one reason or another. That was the weirdest thing of all time. Like, this man is at the height of his career, at the twilight of his career. Like, let him finish. Just let him do his thing. Why are you on him about coming home? Like, let him just play it out. Then you got the rest of your life to ride into the sunset. I just never understood that situation. I thought it was very selfish of Giselle. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. We can get into that another day. But how these guys function at a high level, I just believe that they have to have a good team around them, because if they don't, I think we've seen examples of guys who've fallen off. Look at Mike Vick, right? Mike Vick is an example of a guy who probably didn't have a lot of good people around him. You know, when you don't have good people around you, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah, and I said the same thing with the Tiger Woods situation. It's like, listen, one of my boys, Jay Stedman, was my assistant. Like, the one thing I loved about Jay Stedman, and we talking facts here. I'm letting y'all into some private stuff that most people don't. Jay Stedman, shout out to him. He's coaching now at Independence Junior College up there in Kansas. But Jay Stedman was like my eyes. He was my ears. He handled a lot of my mail, just fan mail, things like that. But one of the things I always loved about Jay is, like, I could always be out somewhere and, I could be parlaying at a spot. And the beautiful thing about our time, Cless, was we didn't have social media. So there was a lot of wild nights. It would be crazy because, see, Sibo, and we talking facts, because Sibo, there would be times where me and Jay would wake up and I'd be like, yo, we're gonna have the pool party today. We're gonna have a cookout, and we would invite people over, and people would start getting in the pool, bucket, bucket. You know what I'm saying? I mean, say you if you know what I mean? People start getting in, and everybody's saucy, having good food. It would be a fun time, and you didn't have social media. You didn't have to worry about phones and Instagram, Snapchats, and all kinds of photos showing up all over the place. And so people would call they'd be like, Strick, I heard it was going down at the crib. How come you didn't hit me? No, man, it wasn't nothing like that. We just had a few people over, had some, people exaggerate, man. And you can say that and get away with it back then. But you can't now. And that's the difference about the now as opposed to the then. But that's the thing about Jay and why he was such a blessing. I could be out and Jay, I could be somewhere kind of in the cut doing my thing. And Jay would say, I was a single man. So, young women and females or whatever, they may like me, or I may talk to them, or I may have dated them, or whatever the case may be. But Jay would be like, yo, it's time to move around. He would come up to me because he knew he would capture things. And I'm saying this, I'm telling the story just because there's things that that team around you can catch or can shield or can block or can be that net before you fall onto the ground and observe some things that are happening around you before it happens. Yeah, it's time to move around. Or, it seems like it's about to jump off. We need to exit. And handle phone calls and stuff like that. So it was that's the thing that Tiger didn't have, because there's no way that Tiger shouldn't have a bat phone. Mm-hmm. There's no way he should not have a bat phone. There's no way, none of that. And I'm not advocating for the foolishness, for the doing your thiz naive around there and hanging out doing your thing. I'm not advocating for that. But I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, don't do it the way you do it. Get the bat phone. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be talking, but I'm telling been naive. But I didn't mean to be telling.
If there was a line, right? If there was a line to step over, like you was right there when you was talking.
I was right there on the verge of it.
You was at the line, sometimes you're a habitual line stepper. You get to the line and you don't quite go there. And I was on the edge of my seat. I wanted you to jump. I wanted you to. I wanted you to go there, because I remember I used to live vicariously through you. I would hear some of the great, wonderful stories as I was back here,
or in Milwaukee now,
living the normal life.
We did get to experience Milwaukee together. Hey, wait now, it was a couple times.
We had a few moments. I didn't have the J moments, but we had a few moments. I was able to touch the lifestyle from the outside. I was like a reporter that didn't report nothing. You know what I'm talking about?
And that's what it is. Like it is. And so to tie it all together, that's what we're talking about with Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Like just having that group, that crew, that friend, that brother, that confidant, to where they can really hone and watch your back and make sure to handle some of these issues so that it doesn't cause conflict within the group setting. Now,
Go. I want to throw something in. What's going to be interesting for Mahomes is over the years, how is he going to handle the revolving gate of new players? Seemed like Tom Brady did a good job of doing that, but I mean that's not easy. It's not easy, and potentially, Andy Reid is not going to. I don't see Andy Reid being there all the way through Patrick Mahomes' career. So how is he going to handle potentially a new coach? I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting. But right now, man, he's off to a very hot start, and I don't think anybody wants to ruin the cash cow. I mean, he is. I feel like he is the NFL. Like he is the shining light for the NFL. He's not just Kansas City.
The future. Mm-hmm.
He transcends the whole NFL because he is the perfect quarterback. He can run, he can throw, he's intelligent, good looking. He's in commercials. Seems to be a very nice family man. It's a lot of pressure to live up to for any man that because I'm sure he just has constant people coming at him to do that, to do this, to do that. Hey, come do this, come do that, come show up here, come kiss some babies over here, come over here, pet the animals over here, come to the hospital. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on, so it's gonna
no doubt about it. Before we go to the break, Harrison, drop us your top 3 most important players for either team.
And then we're gonna give a pick for the Super Bowl.
I mean, we can after the we'll give a pick before we get out of here after we do WTF moment of the week after the next segment. Go ahead.
Okay, top 3. I'm going to stay away from the quarterback thing because that's too easy. Because that's obviously 1A, 1B. Your quarterback's got to play well. George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Christian McCaffrey. Those are going to be the guys I think are really going to have the biggest impact. Decide which way it's going.
Clester.
Or defense, even throw Green Lawn.
Okay, I like it.
Or
Clester.
Are you talking overall for each team?
If you want to do each team, you can. We just we're gonna have to get to break, so I didn't want to.
So I'm gonna say this: Chris Jones for Kansas City.
Good point.
Has just been he wrecks shop, man.
No doubt. He's capable when he wants to.
He can rattle. If they shut down McCaffrey and also be able to put pressure on the quarterback without blitzing, I think it's going to be a long day for the 49ers. I think a lot of people believe that the 49ers have the advantage, but I see Kansas City with the advantage and the experience.
Okay. I'm going to go with, because of the troubles that Kansas City has had at the tackle positions, I'm going to go with 1A, 1B, and that's going to be Chase Young and Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
How they get busy. My other one is going to be, because here's why. I think they're scheming for Debo. I think they're scheming for McCaffrey. But the one that kind of is sitting, he's shown is questionable. And this is another topic, because I wonder sometimes if they put stuff out there to just kind of let you think and to not be able to scheme for it, because just it's questionable. Okay, let's make sure we cover these other. George Kittle, he's going to be the one also for me, and I also too would say the wreck shop guy, and that's Chris Jones. So those are the ones for me. Great segment, great points. If you have any thoughts, always you can tap in on the Sauter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. You can also join in the conversation. But we're going to come back, and we're going to have it. And I teased this before we got out of old school with Austin, and we're going to talk a little bit about donuts. And I'm not talking about, Krispy Kreme. And I'm not talking about, what's the other one, class that you took me to? Dunkin'. There might be some Dunkin' involved in it, but we ain't talking about those kind of donuts. We're talking about the donuts of the zero. Come back and we'll fill you in on what we're talking about right here on We Talk Facts. Be right back after this.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Koppel. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Koppel. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at koppelcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G207684.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln. or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Back on We Talk Facts as we finish up, and this is one of the things that we've been doing as of late. It's called WTF Moment of the Week. And as I alluded to earlier before we came off or went to break, talked about donuts. I'm going to talk quickly about a donut because a lot of people are talking about in the past about splash party, pool parties, jumping in, diving in. But this man dove off the diving board into an empty pool on the concrete with a lot of bricks. And 25 minutes, 0 for 5, and making hundreds of millions of dollars. Lord have mercy, I'd love to play in these days. And even doggone it, Corey Kispert came off the bench and played more minutes than him and slapped into a 9 for 15 for 4 for 9. His name is Jordan Poole.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Poole pulled up a donut. I can fall asleep into at least a point.
Yeah, it is not shooting the ball well. He's not finishing the ball well. Just a quick guess. What do you think his 3-point percentage is? The guy at one point in time that was being compared to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson as a third splash brother. What do you think his 3-point percentage is?
It's got to be 15%.
29. Not as bad as you think, but 29 in the NBA today.
Oh, yeah.
At that position, that's not getting it done. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's
what he's made for. You know, it's not like he's Chris Paul and he's this elite playmaker setting it up. Like, no, he needs to make threes, and he's just been bad all year.
Just goes to tell you, he had a lot of protection in Golden State. And
come on, to be the fourth guy instead of the one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when you become the man, it's different.
Come on,
different.
That's facts. We're gonna send you guys to the video though that it wasn't a donut, but Lord have mercy, it was bad. Check this out.
Best in the NFL when it comes to the quarterbacks across the league. You're going to see so much more tonight, too, as Jalen Hurts has the football in his hand, presenting the NFC side. He's got to beat that Baker Mayfield 24 points, former Oklahoma. You see him going for the one-pointers early on here.
I can tell you what, this is about to be the coolest decision pass you've ever seen from a quarterback.
First 3 that we've had.
Oh,
Alex Smith. Now. Get up off.
Oh, my goodness.
We need big numbers.
That's right. He got the if anyone can do it, it might be
I want to see him make the adjustment. All the balls are riding to the right. Make the adjustment so the ball can drop.
A donut.
Don't miss to the right. Don't miss to the right.
That's got some height on it.
Again, miss to the right. Everybody to the right.
That's my favorite part. Again. Miss to the right.
Class, your initial thoughts on that WTF moment of the week?
My initial thoughts is,
now he ended up with 17, Class. So I mean, that's just kind of how he started. He at least ended up with something. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's statistically impossible for anybody to have 0 like that. But
yeah, because you were the quarterback.
Let alone an NFL quarterback who is the pinnacle of the sport. I found it funny. You're gonna have some haters out there who compare that competition to something that's serious, but we've seen Jalen Hurts perform very well. I don't take that very serious. I just find it very hilarious.
Yeah, it looked like the regular season continuation for Jalen Hurts. I'd be surprised to see how it goes. But real quick numbers, if those are curious, who did win it, and this was the skills competition. It was Baker Mayfield with 24. In the mix was Geno Smith, Jalen Hurts, CJ Stroud, Gardner Minshew, Tua, and then of course Jalen Hurts with the 17, but actually the lowest was Tua Tagovailoa with 16. The skills competition as a whole, it was hard to watch. I was not a fan, and we'll see what happens with all these all-star games. But in that one in particular, I mean, did you guys even watch it?
I did. I watched a little bit of it.
I saw highlights.
Like you sit down, not highlights. Like sit down and watch, because I did not. I was not going to sit there and give hours away watching.
And see, that's the thing, and that could be another topic of discussion. What do you do with all of these all-star games, and how do you make them more of an impact or desirable to because you just as a fan felt that it was
it was bad to watch. It's NHL, NBA, NFL.
Now, NHL was not bad.
Skills competition. Blanking on the one player who made a joke of it. That didn't help. There was one player in the skills competition was not trying at all, but NHL was okay. NBA, they're doing the LED court this year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that adds entertainment value, but NFL, because I get it. You don't want to have a full game. You don't want guys to get hurt. Those are your Pro Bowlers.
Yeah. Class, last final thoughts before we get out of here. You did want to mention something because we want to get out of here with you getting your final thought.
Oh yeah, when we're doing the assessment, I was talking about how Kansas City, the two other guys are the receivers, Condavious Tony, I think that's his name, and
Condavious, I think Condavious Tony.
Condavious, and then Marquez Valdez Scantling. I think I'm going to highlight those players because I really think they're going to.
Rice too. Rice is the one I think.
And Pacheco. I mean, they're going to focus on Kelsey because I mean the guy had 14 catches last game. If you want to make the quarterback uncomfortable, double that guy up and throw it to the guys who've been inconsistent catching the ball. That's where we're going to see things happen. Then my last shout out is, as you guys noticed, I got the South Dakota State on. They are the FCS national champions, and my son played on that team. So I was just representing for the Jackrabbits today. You know, all my Jackrabbit fans.
Shout out to the Rabbits and shout out to William Kyle. The second. That boy, right. William Kyle out there banging on people's head. Boy, we could have used him at Nebraska. At least you got to give us a little something. Good Lord.
He might go into that portal. He might go into that portal.
Yeah.
You never know.
You guys giving picks for the Super Bowl? Or are you saving that?
Yeah,
for
that's
tomorrow?
where we're going to go.
No, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. What's up? Who you got?
Go eat.
I got San Francisco 24-21.
I'm going the Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs. I think we're gonna. God, I'm gonna go 28-27.
I'm going 49ers. 24-21. 49ers walk-off field goal win it.
My man. We're going to see about it, but another segment of We Talk Facts. We'll hopefully see you next week right here on 93.7 The Ticket.